as daily life, like in like the Cell episode where Daryl was being held. They showed more on the lines of Dwight's day-to-day activities and stuff like that. I actually think that they're going to build up to where they can kill Daryl off, and Dwight will just continue on as if in the comic book.
Oh, wow. Well, now, I was thinking that, do you think that Dwight will team up with Daryl to get away from Negan's compound?
I actually believe, like I've told Ike this a couple times, I believe they're setting Daryl up to where he's actually going to submit at some point, or Negan's going to make him kill one of the Alexandrians or one of the main cast, to where it kind of forces Rick's hand to kill Daryl. And then it just seems like they're tying up the loose ends between the show and the comic. Other
so
than
you think Daryl might be gone? You think they may kill Daryl? I think they're trying to build it up to where, he's going to be forced off or make fans angry enough at Daryl because of already causing Glenn to be killed in the show. And then if he ends up having to kill someone else, that, it'll be easier to accept him being off the show. Wow.
Yeah, Patrick, he gets really deep. I just have to sit here and listen because he brings a lot of insight to the episode and the future of the show. Because there's so many ways that the episode could go. As we sit here now, I could think of 4 or 5 different ways that the episode could go, and it's pretty amazing.
I think you're going to be happy if they go the direction of the comic book. You being a big Maggie fan, I think you're really going to be happy with the way she turns out. I don't want to give away too much, but I think it's going to play out close to the same, and Maggie's going to become a much stronger person.
And then they add Ike Diaz to the show, and she marries him.
Yeah, she marries him, and the story zombies go away, and
I'm just joking, guys. But it would be pretty cool to be a part of the Walking Dead cast. So
I tried to audition to be a walker, but I just had no way of getting down to Georgia.
Yeah.
But I actually tried I submitted it in. And audition, submitted for the audition, and they actually sent a response. I think it's just a casual response to where it welcomes you to come down and at least audition for it. Yeah. But you also got to take a walker class, it's called Zombie 101, where they teach you how you're supposed to be walking and what noises you make. And even if I didn't get on the show, I would have loved to have done that. But I missed out on a couple parts just because everything's in Georgia. But wouldn't that have been cool if I would have been on the show and then on this show also?
Anything is experience, man. Just like me and you had talked about, dude, about the Juilliard, man, and I no matter what age we are, dude, I don't have a problem with us going to Juilliard,
And if I get 120,000, I'm going to split that, and me and you will go to Juilliard.
That's what I said.
We'll make it big.
I was just telling Julie. I said me and you made an agreement with each other that we're going to go to Juilliard regardless.
Go for it.
She's like, just go for it. Well, we'll take you too, Julie.
Yeah.
Now we need 180,000 so we can take her with.
No, I don't think I need to go to Juilliard. I don't have ambitions to be an actor.
But I wanted to be an actor. I never even thought of talking on podcasts or radio or anything like that. Ike talked me into all this stuff. I just wanted to be an actor.
But this is helping you so much, though, dude. This is helping you project yourself and to be able to speak in front of people. So you're gonna see the difference once you start acting, dude. Because
I'm good. I'm good face to face. I like to see people's emotions and their facial expressions, and then you can kind of play off that. Yeah. When you're talking on a podcast or say anything, like currently I'm sitting in a room by myself, so I do better when I'm face to face. And when I started like thinking of the acting thing, I was talking to the actress Amber Dawn Fox who plays Officer Bello, and she's the one who was actually encouraging me, telling me like different agencies to start signing up for this and that, and telling me what to expect. And if people try to get you to pay for a service, do not use that, because an agent should never charge you unless he gets you work.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then that's what I said to Ike, and then Ike offered me a part in his movie to work on, so, you know, everything works out for a reason.
Actually, I finally got somebody to help me with the writing of the scripts, so hopefully the scripts will be done here pretty soon.
Great.
Yeah.
No, so last thing before we go. Go ahead, Julie. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just going to say, speaking of the acting on The Walking Dead, have you been reading? Did either of you watch Stranger Things on Netflix?
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
It just came out this summer. Stranger that was really popular, and the young girl who played 11, Millie Bobby Brown, is demanding that she gets a part on The Walking Dead.
Really?
I heard that's a really good show.
It is. It was good. Oh, that's good.
I've seen previews for it and stuff. I haven't got to watch it yet. And I heard there was some issue from season 1 to season 2 that one of the characters wasn't going to be on it, and they didn't know how they were going to keep going forward. But it's definitely something worth looking. Yeah. I didn't get to see the whole series, so I ain't no expert on it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But I think it's one of the main people, and it might even be the one you're talking about that demands to be on The Walking Dead now.
Yeah. Well, I think she's just a child. She's maybe 13 or something. I don't know. But
I still think it's funny. I started an internet rumor about Amber Dawn Fox, that she was the one that killed Beth, and it wasn't Dawn from in there. But yeah, you don't need to go on to that. But that internet rumor still goes around that she's the one that killed her and not Dawn.
Oh wow.
So before we go, I'm gonna announce where you can find our podcast on from now on, and then we're gonna predict. We're gonna all predict real quick before we go our expectations for next week and what we think is gonna happen on our end. And make sure you put your likes, Julie and Patrick, because I noticed they're not on there for the second one. I'm bad, huh? I'm bad. I'm a bad Vato Loco coming through. Well, anyway, the thing I'm getting at here is, I'm going to announce real quick. So you can catch, from now on, you can catch KBLP LLC on iHeartRadio. You could download it on iTunes. It's available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. There's so many. You can check all your social medias, and you could see different podcasts. And then you can also find it, of course, on Speaker, which is our main outlet for the recording part of it. And then we drop it off at the other podcasting companies. So make sure you get a hold of it the best way you could. If you're into The Walking Dead, check us out. We do awesome Walking Dead podcasts, and we're getting better. We do sports, and sports is going great. The Broncos are on their way back to the Super Bowl. So the Vikings, they just kind of blew it again. They cut their kicker. No,
I told you.
I'm just messing with you.
I told you. They always let me down. So, and I'd also like to say with Spreaker, that's my favorite outlet, because that's one where people can actually chat with us live during the show.
Yeah. The other thing is the reason we use Spreaker, and I talk to Julie and I talk to everybody, it's almost like a recording studio, because like the other podcast, if you don't have a recording studio, you won't be able to get your podcast on there, like iTunes or any of that. You won't be able to get your podcast unless you have a recording studio. So Speaker works out good, so that we can record our podcast and then send it up to the other the other outlets for bigger numbers, so that we can all have bigger numbers. So real quick, we do want to get into this next episode coming up. I always look ahead and I look at. I'm already done with. They show different. They show different things that are coming up, but they're so tricky. They're so tricky at what they do that you don't always get the actual result of what's coming up in the episode. So I don't trust them as much as I used to, because you may see one thing and then they it's like totally different. So Patrick, let's start with you since you came on second. Give me an idea of what do you think's coming up in the story, and let's not get into. I think Rick is having a dream, and this might all be a dream. No, I'm just joking with you. But go ahead, give us your insight. I don't believe that one. Give us your insight on everything here.
Well, based upon the previews at the end of the show, and then on the Talking Dead, it seems like they're going to be doing a lot more up there at Hilltop and showing what Maggie and Sasha and them are doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying not to stipulate too much in the comic book, but I think it's going to play out the same way, to where that the scumbag Gregory, the one that runs Hilltop now, he's going to sit there and try to make his own deal with Negan and stuff like that, and it's just not going to work out correctly. And I just think it's going to lead up to where Maggie takes over the Hilltop.
And that's kind of what we've said from the beginning, correct? Or yeah, she in the comic, I know she does that, and I know sometimes they veer away from the source material. But like I said in the comparison, they're slowly getting closer to aligning to each other. So I think that's basically what's going to end up happening. And if it goes anything like the comic book, Maggie shows what type of leader she can be and what sort of punishment she can deal out for those who go against her. So I really think that you're going to be excited seeing all the Maggie stuff coming up. Yeah, it sounds good, because she didn't look very good that night when Glenn had to go on his long journey along with Abraham.
Yeah. She's going to be just fine with Baby Herschel.
Baby Herschel.
At least in the comic, that's what they named her. So named him. So
yeah, I heard that. So it's, who knows? They may change the name later.
Yeah, my predictions are always kind of muddied up because I'm always influenced by the comic also. So I almost always think I know what's going on, but the show has thrown a couple curves in.
I've said it before, and I know Julie agrees with me. Me and Julie don't read the comic for TWD. So it gives us, I think, the difference between you or somebody who reads it and a couple of people who don't give a better. I think we bring a lot to the table because we can give a perspective from our side from not reading the comic. So it seems like it's a growth system, and I think that hopefully Julie and I get better at it, and I think we have over the years. Except for I did go out and I cheated a little bit because I went ahead and got some of the books for Preacher, because Preacher is an awesome podcast, right, Julie?
Oh, yeah. It's an awesome show, you mean?
Yeah, it's an awesome show. It's an awesome podcast. I think Preacher made the top 10, the cover for Speaker twice, 2 of our podcasts. So, so it was pretty cool to see, and I know we made the top 10. We made the 3 of our podcasts made the top 10, and one of them was number 1 in the last couple of weeks. So now I'm getting more into some of those some of those little things that are going on. So it's pretty cool to look at those. Just little